We're about an hour away from the European Parliament discussing two matters critical to India, the Citizenship Amendment Act and the National Register of Citizens, that's the CAA and the NRC. The plenary session in Brussels begins at 10:45 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We'll take you live there on WION. Here's all you need to know before the debate commences, starting with what's on the table. 6 resolutions by groups within the European Union that have now been combined into a single joint motion resolution. The groups behind the joint resolution have some 600 lawmakers. That's a lot of lawmakers. What exactly does this joint resolution state? Well, it calls the CAA discriminatory. It condemns the alleged use of excessive force on protesters in India. As a background, the resolution mentions the issue of freedom of expression in India. It warns against increasing nationalism, which according to them is fueling religious intolerance. Questions have also been raised over the exclusion of other minorities, the Sri Lankan Tamils, the largest refugee group in India, and Rohingya Muslims from Myanmar, the most persecuted minority according to the United Nations. So how does this resolution and all of this affect India? Even if it's passed, the resolution is not binding on India, so technically it doesn't matter. However, it does create political pressure on the European Union to take up the matter with New Delhi. A summit is coming up in March this year, and this could figure in engagements between India and the EU. So how is India countering this resolution? The defense largely centers on one argument. The CAA is a process that is internal to India. And the fact that it's being debated in the public sphere and the Supreme Court. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla has written to the European Parliament saying that it's inappropriate for one legislature to pass judgment on another. So has Vice President Venkaiah Naidu, who reiterated that there is no scope for outside interference in the country's internal matters. If there must be scrutiny, it should be by Indian institutions. Speaking of interference, let's shift focus to the US. 2 days back, a congressional briefing was held in Washington. It was titled, "The Implications of India's Citizenship Law." A group of human rights and social activists attended this briefing. They alleged that the current dispensation in India has become an enemy of the people. Talk about hyperbole. A number of issues were raised: religious conversion, marginalization of minorities, stricter punishments for cow slaughter, and aggressive bans on institutions. This was on Monday. Now today, Harrison Akins, a policy analyst, addressed the US Congress, and he has requested the US government to use quote-unquote targeted sanctions against Indian officials responsible for religious freedom violations. Let me quote from what he said. The CAA could become a weapon to target millions of Indian Muslims, potentially leading to their disenfranchisement. This represents a significant downward turn in religious freedom that no government, including the United States government, can ignore. Very strong words. The Modi government's strong global image clearly has come under stress. A massive diplomatic effort will be needed in the coming days to control the narrative, to set the record straight, and to obtain endorsements to India's argument that the CAA is actually a humanitarian gesture.